Hello, viewers. Hello, everyone. How are you? I hope you're doing great. In this butterfly author interview series, we have Alpana Daftardar with us today. She is a very talented lady. She is a very passionate lady, and she has written one wonderful book. Uh, uh, you can see that book, image of that book behind her, and we will be talking about it. We will be talking about the author and her achievements and everything. Just to give you a brief information about her, she is currently she is in Dubai.
Right.
More than 2 decades, she has work experience from the hospitality industry and the as management consultant. She's passionate about spirituality and she likes to help people and uh, make them healthy, wealthy, satisfied, and that's her specialty. So welcome, ma'am. Welcome, Alpana ji. How are you? How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you very much. Lovely
And
to see you. How are you doing?
great, 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 great.
Excellent.
So before we begin,
Hmm.
a lazy path to good health, breath easy. Uh,
Yes.
can you tell me about this lazy path? I was very curious and I wanted to
Hmm.
ask you this question for a very long time. Why lazy path?
Yes. This is a question that a lot of people asked me, and my husband and I also had a lot of discussion on why lazy path and is that the right word. And so the main word here is breathe easy. And if we breathe properly, it helps us achieve so many things. So, first and foremost, if I breathe easy, then I'm allowing my body to get the right amount of oxygen. I'm also allowing myself to relax because then I'm breathing easy, right? There's no stress in it. So, I'm allowing my body to get the right oxygen. Therefore, the digestion is better. Therefore, it's a positive cycle. So, because my digestion is better, I get the right amount of nutrients and therefore I'm healthy and therefore I'm mentally and physically healthy. And that's such a simple thing to do. We spend hours trying to figure out why how do we become healthy. This is the easiest thing to do is breathe easy and everything then falls into place.
So that's the whole intention of
The
the book.
Absolutely. You don't have
Okay,
to do anything, just breathe properly. That's it.
okay, okay. So my next question: how much time did you take to write this book? And
So that's
before
Mhm.
that, for how long you were thinking of writing?
So that's a good question. So let me answer the second question first.
Correct.
I have been thinking about it for a long time. And if I may just share a memory from at least 5 or 6 years ago, I remember we were planning for a training. And usually, this is the time, September, October, where the most management consultancies tend to get a huge amount of influx of students who finish their education and want to start work. So we had a lot of people who were going to join us. And when we were talking about how to prepare for the training, and how to make sure that we are at peace and the incoming batches who are moving countries with a lot of stress in their mind are also at rest. We were discussing all of this, and my colleague who heard me, she says, Alpana, you know so much. You owe it to us to share it with us. And that's where the seed was planted that
Correct.
I need to do something. What I wasn't sure, how I wasn't sure. That was the second part of the question. If you could just ask me the question again, your question was how long did it
How
take?
much how long did you take to write this book?
So, when we actually came to write the book, thanks to the framework given. Now, because I also have spent a good 15 years in a consultancy, um, I, I talk frameworks. I love frameworks, and as a person, I love processes. And we were given this framework, which I followed like a good student, and that framework helped me to write the book. I think from start to finish, at least my first draft was ready in about 2020, not 20, but 25 days.
Okay.
So, and then of course there's a lot of other post writing production, but the actual writing I was able to do in about 25 days, and I was actually also traveling in the middle of all this.
Yeah,
But
that's
the
fantastic.
framework was so perfect that 25 days was enough.
Okay, great, great, great. So my next question, whoever reads this book, a person
Right.
who knows about these books and then reads it, he has pretty clear idea of what he's going to
Right.
get. But someone who doesn't know about this book, and if that person starts reading this book,
Hmm.
what are those things which will definitely benefit him, and what you have tried to give from your side, and what
Right.
difference you want to make?
Mm. Very, very valuable question, actually. So I've started the book with the story of where my journey started, which is to help people understand that what I'm saying works. If it worked for me, I'm a very normal person with no special superpowers, except the superpower that God has given of breathing, right? Which everyone has. Um, if it works with me, it works with everyone. So, for anyone who's not read about breathing or who has not spent time thinking about it, there are certain chapters where I have actually given you very simple tools of what you can do and how you can do. There is, of course, a little bit of explanation of the breathing techniques and what you can try, and also a couple of places where I've also added links. And once you go to my YouTube channel, you'll get a little bit more of information of what you need to do. Anything from a 2 minute practice to a 5 minute practice to a 15-minute practice, it's all up to you.
Oh, great, great. Now, when your book is out and your friends, your colleagues, your relatives, your known
Right.
people, they know that you have become a published author. So,
Hmm.
how different is their treatment, or how different is their impression, I would rather say, about you, pre and post book?
So I think even today, when you say that you're a published author, the amount of respect that you get is at a different level. So we have to accept that even when I used to talk to someone who said I've published a book, my image of them moves to a completely different level. Now that I have written a book, the responses are of course overwhelming. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of admiration. There are a lot of friends from my college days who I had not spoken to for a long time, who would normally not engage in any social media conversation, have actually reached out to me. And so I would say it's two things. One is the outpouring of love and encouragement, but also people who've reached out to me and said they would love to hear a little bit more, because they genuinely believe that if I've written a book, then there must be some content that I have. I guess I become a subject matter expert in that field in their minds.
Correct, correct, correct.
Yeah,
I feel rather that is the whole intention of doing this book exercise, that you establish your authority and you prove to the world that you know things.
that's true. That's true. And in a way, it is a way to showcase the knowledge, the experience, which is sometimes a lifetime experience that is in those 15 whatever, I can't remember how many words, but the 150, 200 pages that the book has, that is a culmination of nearly 20 years of formal training and possibly a lot of experience that we've gathered over the years.
Correct.
Yeah.
So my next question. When you were in the middle of writing your book, when you
Hmm.
were actually doing the writing part, uh,
Hmm.
did you as a person came across something which is totally new, or did you evolve as a person, or some revelation happened, or something new came to you? Did anything like that happen?
um Actually, when I think about it, when the thought came that I want to write the book, and then I actually started writing the book. So In Toastmasters, when you do public speaking and you practice public speaking, there's a very common saying that there is a speech that you write, there's a speech that you practice, and there's a speech that you deliver. And it was similar. It was a thought that I started with. It was a draft that I created in my mind in the framework, and the end product was a little bit different. And it was, of course, an evolution. Even in those 20-25 days, what I started with, the crux remained the same, but the presentation changed, of course. And I think my aha moment was, while I was writing, I realized that I know so much that it was, in a way, at certain times it was like a word vomit, and I had to be very careful and cognizant that I need to be careful and structure my thoughts properly. But I think the biggest aha moment was, we do not give ourselves the benefit of acknowledging that we know a lot. And when we write, it forces us to structure that, and you realize that you know a lot. It was a good feeling.
Great, great, great. So you mentioned that it took me around 20, it took you around 20, 25, 30 days to finish the book.
Mhm.
And
Right.
of course, this is very impressive, and this is not very common. Not everyone can do it, and you have done it with pretty ease. So, what's the secret behind it? How could you do it so easily?
So I think I go back to the framework. So what happened is, of course, we did an initial Zoom session, which was an introductory session of write a book in 30 days, which I thought was a gimmick. And I said, well, it's a Sunday morning. I think it was a 2 hour session. Let me join and see what it is about. But I did go to the session. I mean, it was from home, but I did join the session with an open mind, and I remember taking notes. And there was a structure, of uh, choose a topic that you're passionate about. And if I genuinely am passionate about a topic, I can certainly think of, say, the 10 things that I want to talk about. And then we were told to create 10 questions per topic. So I had taken those notes and I had challenged myself to try that out. And then I kind of forgot about it. When I did give a thought and I said, okay, now let me actually join the 2 day workshop. I went to the workshop, and I have always been a front bencher. So maybe I'm one of those goody two shoes. But when I actually went for the workshop, I had done my homework, which was the 10 topics and the 10 questions per topic. So I think my framework was in a way ready. And the one thing I did challenge myself was to stay on track. And I said, okay, if I've done this, let me follow it like like a prescription. If the doctor says 3 tablets a day for 7 days, let me follow that prescription. And I did follow that prescription, and it works. It absolutely works.
So now, when you have done it, and
Hmm.
now you know things, so what kind of tips you would like to share with anyone who is
Hmm.
starting to write, or who's thinking of writing, or who's in the middle of writing but has faced some block or anything? What
Hmm.
what are those tips from your side?
So first and foremost, this is a very general tip for anything that you start, right? If you're starting on a project, it's nice to have a goal, but let's break it down into bite-sized pieces, which is as simple as, um, I'll give you an example. I'm taking from books to my personal life, but my son is traveling in about 20 days to go to Canada, and we are holding our heads of how are we going to get everything sorted. But if I break it down to what do I need to do, what are the lists, what are the close lists, what are the medicine lists, what are the back specifications, if I start with all of that, then packing for my son to go to Canada for his education becomes easy. And so, similarly, if you choose to write a book, whether you do it on your own or whether you do it with the people that I did, I worked with yourself and Dr. Kailash, and if you choose to do that, follow the guidance given, because it works. And again, as I said, if I could do it, and I am Miss Procrastination, if I could do it, then anyone else can do it. What you do require, I think, is discipline and persistence. I think those two things you cannot take away.
Correct.
Nothing is easy, but with discipline and persistence and stay with it, it is possible.
It is possible, it is doable, it is manageable. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Uh, shall people write books? Shall everyone write book?
That's a good question. And I genuinely feel yes. And I think in school, I, one of the things, if I were a teacher, or if I speak to anyone today, after having written a book and people asking me, should I write a book? And I have been thinking about it. My message is yes. We, as children, we should have been forced to write journals because each one of us is capable of writing a book. And I had read a quote somewhere that each one of us has a book inside us. Sometimes we follow through and write it or publish it. Publishing or not publishing is up to you. And some of us take that knowledge with us and we do a disservice. So going back to your question, I think everyone should challenge themselves and if call it a bucket list if you have to. But I think that we all should start writing because forget the book aspect, right? I think when you write, you allow yourself over time to start thinking properly. Forget even thinking properly, right? If I write for, let's say, consistently for, say, a month or 2 months, when I go back to the beginning, it's quite likely that you realize the evolution of your thoughts. So I think, sorry, excuse me. Um, I think everyone should write. It's a very cathartic process. It also helps you think through properly. And when I look at some of the diaries, and I don't write regularly, but when I look at some of the diaries I wrote 20 years ago, I realize that I have grown as a person, but it also helps me go back to a certain situation and understand why I took the decision that I did. So, writing, I think everyone should do.
We always say one phrase that everyone has a story to share. Have you shared yours?
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
So, what do you feel when you are in a writing journey and you have no one to trust, you have no one to ask your doubts? Uh, Take this kind of situation. You are completely on your own and you are experimenting and you are trying different methods. This is one method. And second is you have a mentor, you have a guide, you have someone who can hold your hands. And whenever you have any doubts or questions, there is a support system available. This
Right.
is second situation. What do you think?
Right.
What works the best?
So again, you know what? I'll take it away from books and ask our viewers that if you wanted to, let's say you have a wedding coming up and you want to lose weight, if you did the same things that you were doing, will you get a different result? The answer is no. So you would, even if it is for those 2 months or 3 months, you would go to a personal coach and say, hey, you know what? I have my own wedding or I have a wedding in the family coming in and I want to look my best and I have 3 months to do it. You need to help me. You would go to a coach. Similarly, if you're writing a book, if one could do it without a coach or without any help, then we would have done it by now. So, in from a scientific perspective, if the everything in the experiment is the same, the ingredients are the same, the environment is the same, to expect a different answer is being very naive. What I'm trying to get at is do reach out to someone, whoever that it is, but do reach out to someone so that they can give you the guidance. And how much guidance you want to take is up to you, but take the guidance because then your journey becomes easier. It's not
Correct.
that it's impossible. I mean, there are people who lose weight without going to the gym, but then it takes longer, or you may choose the wrong diet, or you may choose the wrong exercise. Similarly, you may end up writing the book, and good for you, but it'll just be a longer journey. Make it easy for you. when you have help, when there is so much of help available, take that help. It becomes an easier journey and it becomes that much more enjoyable.
Great, great, great. And the role of the mentor is very simple. He has done things which you are trying to do. He knows
Exactly.
about those things. He has already
Absolutely.
crossed that journey, and now he can
Exactly.
always guide you where to go, how to go, and what to avoid. He can probably guide you on all the aspects.
Exactly. Because even when I was writing the book, right, as I mentioned, right, I had a certain framework in my mind, or I had certain topics that I wanted to write about. And then along the way, I realized that either it was a repetition or it was, or I was actually stuck at certain points. And then, talking to Dr. Kailash, I realized that I was going off tangent because that's what I said, right? Sometimes it's a word vomit and then you go off tangent. Or there was one point when I think I was traveling and I had taken a break for 2 days and then everything kind of came to a standstill. I was literally stuck. It was as if, the water was stuck at that point and it wouldn't move forward. And then having a conversation, I remember I was traveling, I was in Delhi, so I had joined the call from Delhi, but, we joined as a group call, but that call helped me clarify a few thoughts in my mind. And then the water started to flow or the thoughts started to flow in the same form as they were. And when you do things in a flow, it's much easier as opposed to forcing yourself to do something knowing that you're stuck or that you have a deadline. And which
Correct.
is why, as I said, talking to a coach certainly helps, or doing it with someone who's done it before will help you.
Great, great, great. How was your publishing journey? How was your experience?
It
Anything
was so much
specific?
easier. No, no, it was very much so much easier because knowing that you're talking to people who one who've done it before, two who genuinely care. And I'm not saying this because I'm on the video, but genuinely people who cared, who followed up, who had different ways of doing it. And I think the most important was who also kept you honest and said, if you want to finish, or if you want to publish it by X date, you need to finish, A, B, and C by so and so date. So they kept us honest and they also kept us in a way on track because it was a little bit like herding a flock of sheep. So it was good that all of you were good shepherds.
Great. So I'm sure you enjoyed the whole publishing journey.
I completely enjoyed the publishing journey, and also it made sense that writing is just one aspect of it, right? I mean, there's so much more that goes behind that we don't even realize. So I think I have a lot more respect now, for anyone who says they're a publisher or anyone who says that, they work in this field. It opened my eyes to a lot more things.
Great, great, great. Thanks a lot. Great. So now
Yeah.
when this book is out and people are actually liking it, loving it, and you are getting overwhelming response. So this was your first book, I believe.
Yes, it is. It was my first book. It is my
So,
first book. Yes.
yeah, so now when it is out in the market, what are your next plans regarding the book,
hmm
about the next book? What else you have in mind?
So I must say that, when you write a book, it's like a drug because then you're thinking of what else can you do? What else can you write about? But that I'll pause over there. One of the reasons I did want to share my thoughts in a book, let me go back to the topic. My topic is the lazy path to good health, breathe easy. And the topic came to me because I think the book comes to you. And the reason I say that is because I come from a family where I think I'm the fourth generation of authors. So, when my uncles and aunts say, "Oh, you've done a great job," I just say, "Listen, I'm just taking it forward," right?
It's in my DNA.
Um, it's in my DNA. But I am blessed to be from a family where my mama's, written on Gita. My mom's father has written a few dramas. My mom's uncle has written short stories. So I had also started there. I had started, in fact, I still have two mid or short kind of stories ready. Um, But why this book? Why did this book kind of overtake everything? Is because of the message. And why, I'll tell you why I say the message. COVID taught us that we take our health for granted. We also take people for granted, but we take our health for granted. And a lot of us who were able to come on the across on the other side with little or no trouble was those of us who at the end of the day were able to breathe right, because COVID was about breathing.
Correct.
And it's a little bit of a serious topic, but honestly, that showed us that, anyone with comorbidities unfortunately faced a lot more trouble. What I'm trying to get at is we all need to realize that taking care of our health is not an option anymore. We need to take care of our health. And I owe it to my family, to my husband, to my son, to my in laws, that I take care of my family. And I take care of my family by taking care of myself. And if I can reach even one person in a family and teach them to breathe right, they it could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be a child, it could be an elder, it could be a middle-aged person. But if I can reach one person in every family and help them take care of themselves by breathing right, I have made sure that it becomes like a nucleus. One person breathes right, they teach people around them, growing
Correct.
exponentially and taking care of themselves. So what next for me is I'm talking to friends and family. I'm anyway doing this with some of my ex-colleagues where I run weekly sessions. I help them, breathe right, meditate. Unfortunately, people don't understand meditation. You say meditation, they say, "Oh, I don't know how to meditate. Oh, that's not for me." So okay, don't call it meditation, call it mindfulness, call it breath work. I don't mind what you call it, but learn to breathe right. So I'm already working with some people. In fact, just before we this call, I was talking to a friend who's a banker, and I said, if there's anything I can do for your group, for your team, to help them take care of themselves, take care of their mental health, and therefore take care also of their physical health, I would be very happy to. So I'm running workshops. And I think it's important for us to reach corporates more than just the homes as well. Because at home, we still have our parents, our grandparents who want the best out of us and will ask us, what is satsang about, right? Satsang is about relaxing, you sing, you listen to good people, pravachan as we call it, you listen to good people, it helps you relax. In corporates, there is a lot of lip service given to mental health, but we do need to take care of ourselves, have these conversations, destigmatize mental health, and just help people relax. And that is my next step, is to reach out to people and reach out more to corporates to make this part of their conversation. And it's so simple, you can do very simple mudras while you're in the middle of a board meeting, which will help you relax. You can do certain mudras which help you to feel more confident. You can breathe in a certain way before you walk into the meeting to center yourself. And that is where I would really like to take my book to and my journey to.
Fantastic.
A long answer, but that's essentially where I want to reach.
But long answer, but that gave us a lot of clarity. So, of
Yeah.
course, so here we come towards the end of our interview session. And that was
Hmm.
Alpana Daftardar talking
Thank
about her book, about her passion, about her future plan, explaining everything.
you.
And we are very lucky to get the entire information from the author of Breath Easy. Uh,
Yes.
so
So I also kept a copy because, I said I do want people to give a thought to this, because, it's just three things, right? Uh, when we talk about breath, once you realize that you can mind your mind, um, you realize that your mind matters. You first need to start taking care of your mind, and that's when the the message sinks in that yes, my mind matters. And the moment you realize that your mind matters, you will start taking care of your mental and physical health. and then the mind body soul alignment happens. So my simple message is breathe easy.
So this
We owe it to
great book
ourselves.
is available on Amazon. Just search with Alpana Daftardar's name or Good Health Breath Easy. Whatever you search on Amazon, you are going to find this book on Amazon. Go and grab your copy. This is going to be one book, one great book in your collection, which is going to change your life, which is going to change your family's life. So please visit Amazon and grab your copy. So
And thank you so much.
thank you, thank you. I was about to say thank you to you.
I'm so,
So,
no, but thank you so much, Dr. Deepak. I mean, you and your team, Dr. Kailash, you've been invaluable help
thank you.
in this entire journey to make a thought into reality.
Great, great. Thanks a lot. And thanks for taking time out today and talking to us, sharing your knowledge. And our best wishes are always with you for your book and all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm just closing this interview. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And when is your book coming up? Think about it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Good thought. Take care.